Hello and welcome to The Spirit Safe. My name's Rob. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Now, one of the things I've been keen to do on The Spirit Safe is to review whiskies from countries that you don't usually associate with whisky production. So I thought, so far this year I've added Belgium and Finland to that list. So I thought now was a good time to bring out the South African whisky. So this is the Bains Cape Mountain single grain whisky, 43% ABV. It doesn't say anything about chill filtration or natural colour. It's owned by Distell, and Distell in their Scottish distilleries don't do any colouring. Bunnahabhain and Deanston, they don't do any. I think there's another as well. They don't do any artificial colouring there, but this is a little bit orange looking, so there might be a little bit of E150A. So Distell, a South African company that own Scottish distilleries and others. This is called the James. Well, what is it they call it now? The James Sedgwick Distillery in Cape Town. The packaging, I think the visual aesthetic of this it looks like a local brand of whiskey that you might pick up in the Philippines or Thailand. It's got a very sort of Asian look to it. Crappy visuals, I think, but it's got a decent base. It's got quite a bit of weight to it. And it's got the crappiest of the cheapest feeling of screw caps as well. So the packaging is an odd mixture of a very weighty quality bottle, but actually very poor visual presentation. So I bought this in Alberta. I paid about 45 Canadian, so really fairly cheap. But then again, I don't know what South African grain whiskies usually retail for. I don't know how old this distillery is. I don't know if Bains is a well-known brand in South Africa. I never heard my South African friends talk about Bains whiskey. But anyway, yeah, about $45 plus tax Canadian. From Cape Town, single grain whiskey. I've only done one other single grain whiskey on the channel. That was from a closed Scottish grain distillery. Grainy on the nose. Similar to the Scotch grains I've had. So while I've only reviewed one, I've tried several. I'd say it's, a good nose for a grain whiskey. A lot of citrus and green banana going on there. Good quality oak notes. I'm getting a lot of ex-bourbon type notes off the nose. Fresh ginger, peach. Toffee, cream coffee, but it's cut with an alcohol note and a little bit of citrus. Creme brulee. That really quite young grain note starting to come through, and that kind of cuts the creamy and toffee profile. Bit of baked apple with cinnamon, but again, very grain forward, very spicy. Later you pick up a spicy cologne, a slight gunpowdery note, and raisins, but not very plump, soaked raisins, kind of dryish raisins that have been out for a while. Yeah, spicy, hinting at pepper, hinting at some young tree fruit type notes. A lot of ginger. Yeah, on the nose, very, very pleasant. On the palate, It's sweet, spicy and peppery, but it's also surprisingly milky in the mouthfeel. It does have a smoother, more milky, and actually fades to cream on the finish. There's lots of caramel, butter, toffee going on there. It can be oversweet, like icing sugar, fading to spice and then a dryness. And when I'm acclimatized to this, because I'm not used to grain whiskies, but after maybe the second glass, I pick up a lot of milk chocolate. So that's an indication to me of quality, rather than just getting spice and vanilla. To pick up a milky notes and milk chocolate and nutty notes is a marker of quality for me. A little bit off balance, maybe. I don't think this is a particularly old whiskey, but maybe it doesn't have to be. South Africa, warm climate, so it might mature fairly quickly. Dry fruit in the mid palate and a little bit of banana. Something a little herbal coming through on the nose now, probably like a little bit of eucalyptus or something. I'll give it a little bit of water, just shy of 1 teaspoonful, because it's still only 43% ABV. Pineapple, coconut, spice, oak a bit more forward. Instant coffee, nail varnish, toffee popcorn, and later when it's settled down a little bit, there's honey and sweet orange. A lot more going on the palate with a bit more water add. Got a bit more staying power, a bit more, maybe less milky, but more syrupy in the mouthfeel. Sweet and spicy. Honey most definitely has that honeyed mouthfeel and the honeyed flavour profile. More nutty, chocolatey. Is there a hint of Christmas cake? I always associated Christmas cake with very sherried drams, single malt whiskies. I do pick up a little hint of Christmas cake, but occasionally it can be overly sweet in the arrival. But maybe that's just me not being used to grain whiskies so much. Finish, peppery, vanilla, a lingering spice. I have noticed that it can sometimes anaesthetise the palate a little bit, and it leaves an odd kind of medicinal clang. I think that's down to the youth of this one. So for me, it's kind of a starting off whiskey for the evening. So I'll have one of these to kind of set my palate, but I'll enjoy it and I'll sip it. If I had 2 or 3 of these in the night, it would start to anaesthetise the palate a little bit. Nutty cocoa, coconut, a peppery oak, and a chocolate mint, dark chocolate mint, after 8. Those thin after 8, after dinner mints. I picked that up very, very strongly on the finish last night. Okay, so I'd say grain fans, try this, give it a go. Well worth trying. I don't think it will convert malt fans to grain. People who hate grain whiskey are probably not going to decide, having tried this, that they love grain whiskey now. But I think it's well worth a try. It's a good introduction to grain whiskey because it's not too expensive. Available in Alberta, quite available in the UK through online retailers. I'd be interested to know if it's available where you are. But this has been, an exciting thing. I'm glad I've been able to review a South African whisky. I was surprised to see it. Anyway, hope you like the review. Like, comment and subscribe, and hope to see you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.